Hello, dear friend. You didn't stumble upon this message by accident. It was meant to find you today. I believe this moment was designed just for you, a quiet reminder from heaven, calling you back to something deeper, something meaningful, to put your heart into serving God. You see, we live in a world full of distractions, deadlines, responsibilities, personal goals, and endless noise. Yet in the middle of it all, there's a gentle voice calling your name, whispering, "Serve me with your heart." Because serving God isn't just about what you do. It's about the love and passion behind it. When your heart is in it, even the smallest act becomes sacred. Whether you're helping someone, praying quietly, or just choosing kindness when it's hard, it all becomes worship when it flows from a heart that loves God. That's what makes serving Him so powerful. Dear friend, think of this. You can do great things. You can help many people. But if your heart is empty or distracted, it loses meaning. But when you put your whole heart into serving God, something beautiful happens. Your life gains purpose. Your soul feels alive. You stop existing and start living. Serving God from the heart is not a duty. It's an expression of love. Just like how a mother cares for her child, not out of obligation, but out of love. That's how God wants your service to be. He delights in your willingness, not your perfection. Maybe you've served God before, but somewhere along the way you lost the spark. Maybe life got heavy. Maybe you've been giving and giving, and now you feel drained, unseen, or unappreciated. But dear friend, let me remind you, God sees your heart. Every quiet effort, every tear, every moment you chose to keep going, it's all recorded before Him. When you serve Him with love, even your pain becomes part of your worship. Your struggles turn into strength. Because serving God wholeheartedly doesn't just change what you do, it transforms who you are. You start noticing peace where there used to be fear. You begin to find joy in simple things. And even when challenges come, there's a calm assurance within you, because you know who you're doing it for. Putting your heart into serving God means saying, "Lord, I give you my best. Not because I have to, but because you deserve it." It means showing up with gratitude, not grumbling. It means pouring love into your words, your work, and your actions, because you want your life to reflect the one who gave you life. And the beautiful thing is, God never forgets a heart that serves Him sincerely. When you serve Him with love, He multiplies your strength, renews your hope, and blesses your efforts, even in ways you can't see yet. So today, let this message awaken your heart. Let it stir something deep within you, a desire to live fully for God again. Not halfway, not with hesitation, but with all your heart, because that's where true fulfillment begins. This is not just about religion. It's about relationship. It's about falling in love with God all over again and letting that love reflect in how you live, how you work, and how you serve others. You were made for this, to serve God from the heart. It's what gives your life meaning, depth, and eternal value. And when you step into that kind of service, everything around you begins to shift. Your environment feels lighter. Your thoughts become clearer. Your days start to carry peace, not pressure. Because when your heart is aligned with God's, you stop striving and start flowing in His grace. So, dear friend, pause for a moment and ask yourself, I serving God with my whole heart? Or have I been doing things out of routine, fear, or expectation? If you feel distant or weary, it's okay. This message is your gentle nudge to return, to put your heart back where it belongs, in the service of the one who loves you more than you can imagine. Dear friend, when you decide to serve God with your whole heart, you begin a transformation that touches every area of your life, spiritually, emotionally, and even physically. Because God never leaves a heart unchanged when it is fully surrendered to Him. Let's talk about what happens inside you first, the spiritual transformation. When your heart is genuinely invested in serving God, you start to experience a closeness with Him that feels almost tangible. Your prayers feel deeper, your peace lasts longer, and your faith becomes stronger. You no longer serve from a place of fear or pressure, but from joy. You start to understand that God doesn't just want your work. He wants you. Serving Him wholeheartedly opens your spirit to divine presence. The more you give yourself to His service, the more He pours His grace and wisdom into your heart. You start hearing His gentle guidance more clearly. You begin to sense when He's leading you towards something or protecting you from something. And the most beautiful part? Your service becomes a two-way exchange. You serve God, but He also strengthens, refreshes, and restores you. Many people don't realize that when they serve others through God's love, they're actually healing their own souls in the process. The very act of giving yourself to His purpose fills you with meaning that money or success could never bring. Let's take this journey together as we explore what happens when you truly put your heart into serving God. Not just the spiritual transformation, but the physical, emotional, and even mental blessings that come with it. Because when your heart belongs to God, everything else begins to align in ways that will amaze you. There's a peace that settles in your spirit, a calmness that remains even when storms come. You stop depending on external things to feel happy because your joy now flows from within, from your connection with the one who never changes. Now, dear friend, let's look at the emotional and mental benefits. When your heart is serving God, you begin to see life through a new lens. Gratitude replaces complaining. Hope takes the place of fear. You stop dwelling on what's missing and start rejoicing over what's possible. People who serve God sincerely are often more emotionally stable. Why? Because their minds are anchored in something unshakable. When your focus is on pleasing God, you worry less about the opinions or judgments of others. You start to walk in quiet confidence, knowing that your worth doesn't come from human approval, but from God's delight in you. You become more forgiving because you realize how much you've been forgiven. You become more compassionate because you start seeing people the way God sees them, not through their mistakes, but through their potential. And you become more patient because deep down you trust that God's timing is perfect, even when it doesn't make sense. Your service from the heart changes the atmosphere around you. People notice the peace in your voice, the gentleness in your tone, and the sincerity in your actions. Even without preaching, your life becomes a message, a living example of God's love in motion. Now, let's talk about something people often overlook: the physical benefits of serving God wholeheartedly. Yes, you heard that right. When your spirit and heart are aligned with God, your body often follows in harmony. Scientific studies have even shown that people who live with gratitude, purpose, and faith tend to experience lower stress levels, better immunity, and longer lives. Serving God with joy releases you from the toxic weight of worry and anxiety. It shifts your focus from self-centered thoughts to purpose-filled action. And when your mind is at peace, your body responds, your heart rate steadies, your energy improves, and your whole being feels lighter. Think about how much energy is wasted on fear, resentment, and guilt. When you replace those emotions with love, service, and faith, that same energy is transformed into strength, creativity, and vitality. You feel renewed because your heart is no longer burdened by inner conflict. There's also something miraculous that happens when you serve others in God's name. The joy you give out returns to you multiplied. That smile you bring to someone, that kindness you share, that encouragement you offer, all of it feeds your own spirit. It's like watering others and finding that your own roots grow stronger in the process. Serving God with your whole heart also affects your relationships. When you approach people with love and humility, conflict lessens. Your family feels your calmness. Your friends trust your sincerity. People are drawn to your light, not because you try to impress them, but because they sense something divine about you, peace that can't be faked. Dear friend, when you serve God wholeheartedly, you also attract divine favor. Doors begin to open. Opportunities come that you didn't chase. Provision appears in unexpected ways. It's not magic. It's the natural result of walking in alignment with God's purpose. When you put your heart into serving God, He puts His hand upon your life. He begins to guide you, protect you, and prosper you, not only spiritually, but in your daily living. You'll notice blessings that go beyond finances. Things like restored peace, improved health, stronger relationships, and a renewed sense of direction. The blessings of heartfelt service are not temporary. They ripple through every area of your existence. Your days become more meaningful, your nights more restful, your path more illuminated. Because when you live for something eternal, everything temporal begins to make sense. Friend, there's a glow that comes from those who serve God sincerely. It's not a glow from wealth, power, or fame. It's a glow of peace, purpose, and presence. That's why some people walk into a room and immediately lift the atmosphere. They carry the light of God because their hearts are His. This transformation doesn't mean life becomes perfect. Far from it. Challenges will still come. But now, instead of breaking under pressure, you'll find yourself standing strong with calm faith. You'll see obstacles as opportunities to show God's power through your perseverance. And even when the world around you feels uncertain, your heart will remain anchored. Because serving God wholeheartedly connects you to something far bigger than yourself, His eternal plan. And there's nothing more secure than that. So, if you've been longing for peace, for stability, for meaning that doesn't fade, start here. Serve God from your heart. Not halfway, not out of duty, but from deep love. You'll see how your inner world begins to heal, how your outlook brightens, and how even your physical well-being starts to flourish. Because, dear friend, you can't pour love into God's service without being filled with love yourself. You can't shine light for others without that same light filling your soul. When your heart belongs to God, everything in you, mind, body, and spirit, begins to align with His goodness. Dear friend, now that we've talked about the beauty and transformation that come from serving God with your whole heart, let's go even deeper. Let's talk about how you can truly do it. Because knowing the truth is one thing, but living it out is where the real power begins. Putting your heart into serving God begins with a decision, a quiet, personal moment between you and Him where you say, Lord, I want to give you my best. Not just my time, not just my words, but my heart, my thoughts, my motives, my attitude. It starts small. You don't have to make a grand gesture. You begin by surrendering the ordinary things, your daily routines, your work, your kindness toward others, your willingness to forgive, your patience when tested. When you offer even these simple things to God in love, they become extraordinary. You see, wholehearted service doesn't mean you have to stand on a pulpit or go on a mission trip. It means wherever you are, in your home, your job, your community, you serve God through the way you live. Every act of love, every choice of integrity, every prayer whispered in faith, that's how you serve Him. And here's something powerful to remember. When you serve God from your heart, you're never serving alone. He's right there beside you, giving you strength when you feel tired, grace when you feel weak, and joy when life feels heavy. He doesn't just call you to serve. He equips you to serve. Maybe you've been feeling like your life isn't making much of a difference. Maybe you've wondered if God really sees your quiet efforts. Dear friend, let me remind you, nothing you do for God is ever wasted. Every time you love, give, help, or speak kindness, it ripples beyond what you can imagine. There are people who smile again because of your faithfulness. There are lives touched because you chose to obey that gentle nudge in your spirit. You might never know the full impact of your service on this side of eternity, but one day, God will show you how every act of love built something eternal. When you serve God wholeheartedly, your life becomes like a seed planted in good soil. You may not see growth overnight, but deep beneath the surface, something divine is happening. God is nurturing what you've sown, and in His time, He'll bring forth a harvest of blessings you won't be able to contain. And remember, this is not just about blessings you can touch or see. The greatest reward is the peace, joy, and closeness with God that come from walking in His will. There's a sense of fulfillment that nothing in this world can compare to. You'll lay your head down at night with a quiet satisfaction, knowing you've done something that truly matters. When you serve God with your whole heart, your identity becomes rooted in Him. You no longer need applause or recognition. His approval becomes enough. That's where real freedom lives. You stop chasing worldly validation because your joy now comes from pleasing the one who created you. And as you walk in that joy, God begins to use you as a vessel of His love. You'll find yourself speaking words that heal, giving in ways that bless, and shining light in places that used to feel dark. Your service becomes your ministry, not confined to a building, but lived out every day, wherever you go. Dear friend, this is the kind of life God designed for you. A life of meaning, of peace, of divine purpose. A life where you wake up each morning not with anxiety, but with gratitude. Where you look at your work, your relationships, and even your challenges and say, God, I will serve you in this too. Because the truth is, serving God with your heart doesn't remove all your struggles, but it gives your struggles purpose. You begin to see that even in pain, God is shaping you, refining you, and using you to bless others. Your story becomes someone else's encouragement. So, how do you begin today? Start by inviting God into everything you do. Before you work, whisper, Lord, let this bring you glory. Before you speak, ask, let my words reflect your kindness. Before you make decisions, say, guide my steps, Lord. That's what it means to serve Him from the heart. Not just in moments of worship, but in every moment of life. And if there's one truth I want you to hold on to, it's this. God doesn't want your perfection. He wants your participation. He wants your sincerity, not your show. He wants the real you, the one who sometimes stumbles but keeps coming back because love keeps drawing you closer. When you put your heart into serving God, you're not just building a life, you're building eternity. You're storing treasures in heaven that can never fade, and you're shaping a legacy that will outlive you. And friend, the blessings that follow a life of wholehearted service are beyond imagination. You'll begin to notice doors opening where there were walls, favor surrounding you like light, and divine opportunities aligning with your purpose. Even in tough seasons, you'll sense God's presence guiding you. He'll turn delays into divine timing, disappointments into direction, and challenges into testimonies. Because those who serve Him with all their heart never walk alone, never run empty, and never end in loss. So today, if your fire has grown dim, let this message be the spark that reignites it. If your steps have slowed, let this be the wind that strengthens them. If your heart has grown weary, let this be the gentle reminder that God still sees, still loves, and still calls you to something greater. You were created to make a difference. You were designed to shine light in this world through your service. So rise again, dear friend. Pour your heart back into the hands of the one who gave it to you. Serve with love, serve with joy, serve with faith, and watch how God will transform every part of your life, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. Because the more you give yourself to His purpose, the more He fills you with His peace. The more you bless others, the more He blesses you. The more you love Him through your service, the more you'll realize that you've been loved all along. And as this message comes to a close, I want to gently remind you, this is not the end, it's a new beginning. Let today mark the moment you decided to serve God, not halfway, but wholeheartedly. Let it be the day your heart says yes again, fully, freely, and forever. You have a purpose. You are not forgotten. God is ready to do something beautiful in your life, starting right now, as you choose to serve Him from your heart. So, dear friend, keep this flame alive. Let grow. And if this message has touched your heart, don't stop here. Watch more of these heartfelt messages on this channel. Messages that will help your faith grow, your peace deepen, and your relationship with God flourish. Because this journey is just beginning. And as you continue walking it, one thing is certain. When you put your heart into serving God, your life will never be the same again. Amen. Have a blessed day.